Good morning. My name is Stacy Turner. I'm the Deputy Fire Chief here in the town of Clayton. I'd like to welcome everybody for joining us, all of our citizens, our elected officials, and town employees. It's a privilege to stand alongside the members of the Clayton Fire Department, Clayton Police Department, and Johnston County EMS personnel. Although we serve in different roles, we are united by a common purpose: to safeguard, support, and serve the community with honor and resilience. Together, we form a close-knit team standing shoulder to shoulder for the greater good. Today, we gather not only to reflect on a defining moment that will forever change our nation, but also recognize the extraordinary courage of those who face the unimaginable danger to protect others. Here's a timeline bringing attention to the significant moments of that day. 8:46 a.m. American Airlines Flight 11 strikes the North Tower of the World Trade Center, killing 76 passengers and 11 crew members. 9:03 a.m. American Airlines Flight 175 crashes into the South Tower, claiming 51 passengers and 9 crew members. 9:37 a.m. American Airlines Flight 77 crashes into the Pentagon, killing 53 passengers, 6 crew members, and 125 military and civilian personnel. 9:59 a.m. The South Tower collapses after burning for 56 minutes. 10:03 a.m. United Flight 93 crashes in a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, after passengers courageously fight back against the hijackers. All 33 passengers and 7 crew members lost their lives. At 10:28 a.m., the North Tower collapses after burning 102 minutes after being struck. On September 11, 2001, nearly 3,000 lives were lost, marking it as the deadliest incident ever for firefighters, law enforcement officers in the United States, with significant impact on EMS personnel as well. Among the 343 firefighters, 23 police officers, and 8 paramedics and EMTs. Despite the overwhelming loss, their heroism led to one of the greatest rescue efforts in modern history, with more than 20,000 rescued before the towers collapsed. Their bravery and dedication stand as a testament of the courage of crews in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. At this time, I would like to invite to the podium a representative from the Clayton Fire Department, the Clayton Police Department, and Johnston County EMS to share personal stories of our comrades from that day. These accounts illustrate the profound impact and sacrifice of those who answered the call of duty on September 11th. Their courage and selflessness in the face of unimaginable dangers serve as a powerful reminder of the unwavering commitment of our first responders. First, I'd like to call Captain Joshua Spivey from Clayton Fire Department.
Good morning. Joe Angolini Jr., a dedicated firefighter with Ladder 4, responded to the attacks alongside his father, Joseph Angolini Sr., a revered New York City Fire Department member with 40 years of service. Tragically, both lost their lives that day. Joe Jr.'s wife recalls the last message from her husband: "Tell her I'll call her when I get back, and tell her I love her." Meanwhile, Joseph Angolini Sr. had grabbed someone else's gear to find his son. Despite surviving the first tower's collapse, he was lost when the second tower fell. Joe Jr., who was 38, left behind a wife and 2 children. Donna Angolini, his wife, faced the heart-wrenching task of informing their children weeks later and waited 6 months for her husband's remains to be identified. A touching account from a woman who was rescued by Joe Jr. and his company reveals their ultimate sacrifice. Trapped in an elevator, she saw Joe Jr. and his team form a human chain to rescue her. When Joe Jr.'s remains were finally recovered, his elevator keys were missing, confirming his heroic actions.
Lieutenant John LeQuire, Clayton Police Department.
William Eno, a Port Authority police officer, endured a harrowing ordeal, trapped beneath the rubble of the World Trade Center for 13 hours. A wall from the collapsed towers crushed him, and fire burned his arm. As night fell, Yemeno heard a distant call. United States Marine Corps, can anybody hear us? This led a rescue effort by firefighters, police officers, and Marines. Yemeno was finally hoisted out around 11 p.m., emerging to see the sky, but realizing that the buildings were gone. His rescue was followed by multiple surgeries and a long rehabilitation process, leading to early retirement due to his injuries.
Captain Melissa Hickman, Johnston County EMS.
Paramedic Juana Lomi's day began with a jarring sight as she stood outside NYU Downtown Hospital and witnessed Flight 11 crashing into the North Tower. Instinctively, she and her partner rushed to the scene with their ambulance, positioning themselves near the North Tower. Lomi's steadfast commitment and quick response were evident as she provided aid to survivors, even after the tower collapsed. She was able to find shelter and continue her work amid the devastation. In stark contrast, EMT Yamel Marino faced a tragic outcome. Arriving from the Bronx with her partner, Marino reported to a triage area near the South Tower, which had been struck by a second hijacked plane. Amid the chaos, destruction, Marino dedicated herself to helping the injured. Tragically, her efforts were cut short when the South Tower collapsed, claiming her life.
These personal accounts remind us of the extraordinary bravery and sacrifice that embodied on September 11th. They highlight the heroes who represent the best of us and underscore our duty to honor their memory. Today, we not only remember the events of September 11th, but also celebrate the resilience, dedication, and courage of all first responders then and now. In Clayton, this day serves as a reminder of the often thankless job our first responders, to include firefighters, police officers, and EMS, do out of the love for our community and for each other. They risk their lives daily, showing unwaveringly dedication, even under challenging and dangerous conditions. At this time, I invite you to join me in a moment of silence as we reflect on the bravery displayed by those who responded on 9/11 and the lasting impact they've had on our nation. After the moment of silence, we will toll the bells 5 times in their honor. Again, on behalf of the town of Clayton, its elected officials, the fire department, police department, and Johnston County EMS, we want to thank you all for joining us today in the remembrance of this tragedy, but in the celebration of those who made the ultimate sacrifice on this day. Again, thank you. Feel free to stay amongst and talk to all first responders on scene, but thank you for coming. Y'all have a great day.